Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Interview. I'm Jennifer Duke. Anyone who's tried to get a tradie over the last couple of years would know that it's not always easy. There was this big surge in demand for home improvements during the pandemic, and when you couple that with supply chain challenges, waiting times blew out. But as demand weakens, are we seeing more flexibility come back into the market? Now, hipages is kind of like an ASX-listed marketplace, but for tradies. It's also a company with a wealth of data on the trends in the industry and hopefully an idea where we're headed as well. Robbie Sharon-Zipser is the founder and CEO of hipages. Robbie, welcome back to Fear and Greed.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, Robbie, you've spoken to Sean Elmer a couple of times, but for my benefit here, can you take me through the hipages business model? And it's where tradies pay a regular fee to get access to job leads, right?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Trades buy a subscription of hipages. Usually they subscribe for a 12-month period and they pay that subscription fee monthly. And what those trades receive from us is access to consumers that want trade services done around their house. So they can pick and choose the type of work they want, when they want that work, and in the location of that work. So, yeah, it's really a connection service in a way. And, yeah, the trades pay a subscription to have access to those opportunities of work.
So you obviously get to see a lot of that back end of who's asking for what jobs and who's applying for what jobs. What have you sort of seen happen in the industry over the past 12 months?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of data that we capture, as you said in the introduction. We process through our marketplace about 1.5 million jobs, and we're also offering our trades as well other services like for them to be able to do their scheduling and quoting and invoicing. So we get a lot of information in hipages. And what that data's showing is exactly what you said. There was a serious period of time from, I'd say, when the Delta strain hit, if we can cast our minds back.
Feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. I think people were a bit restricted on what they could do in terms of how they could dispose of their income. The government was doing quite a lot of quantitative easing. So people were relatively flush with cash. I mean, people may not remember it, but the data says that people had more cash in their bank accounts than they have had for a while. And the idea is that would stimulate people to spend it and keep the economy going while a lot of other things were restricted. And interestingly enough, a lot of that went into home renovations, home maintenance, repairs, which is where we operate in. And we saw record numbers of job volumes. And yes, we also saw material prices increasing, subcontractors getting harder to get, and the numbers were just astronomical. And at the end of the day, it was hard to get matched up or connected with a trade. What we saw, though, is in January of this year that sort of flipped around and it's become a little easier to find trade. It doesn't mean it's cheaper. The price of materials is still pretty high.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. But it is more competitive. So you know that you're getting probably a fair price. And that changed really around January this year. We saw some little green shoots of behaviour in the data changing prior to that. Around October, November last year, but really a proper sustained change where consumer demand started to ease, trades started to get caught up in the backlog of work that they've been accumulating, and they're coming back to the marketplace for more of what we have to offer, which was, those 1.5 million jobs that we offer per annum.
Are you finding that demand's really differing in the different sectors for tradies? So sort of a plumber's in higher demand than Sparkies right now. What can you see?
So it's interesting. I mean, one of the things that's interesting about hipages, we're not really big construction. Well, we do offer new homes and extensions and additions as one of the primary services. We have a huge number of job or quote requests coming in for those maintenance and repair type work. What we have noticed is that some of the architectural type work, the building design, the large landscape projects, new builds, extensions and additions are down meaningfully. And when I say meaningfully, down 20, 25% of regular volumes. But what we're seeing is other things are up or at least stabilizing, where people might be using things like trades for refreshes, like a tiling job or a painting job for the home. So those jobs are still in abundance, and in fact, in some categories are higher. So there's still opportunity, and there's renovations and repairs and maintenance going on. It's just moving around in different spaces.
And as you sort of alluded to there, the construction sector has been pretty fragile lately. And even though you're not obviously getting a lot of those construction jobs I'm pretty sure no one's saying, I want to build my entire house and put it on high pages. As you say, it's more that sort of renovation architectural stuff and those sorts of jobs. But are you finding that there are more trades that are looking at the platform now as an opportunity?
Yeah, we definitely are. So we have the most active trade database we've ever had, where they're actually connecting with consumers. And obviously consumers are getting a great experience because they're getting responses from trades. So our commitment is to get up to 3 trades to respond to your job. So if you're in a metro area and you have a plumbing job or an electrical job or any of those traditional trades, you will get those 3 connections. It's very, very likely, unless it's just something really, really weird about your job. But in most cases, you will get a really, really good response. In fact, we're seeing around 40% increase in trades registering in our platform year over year. So there's definitely a lot more trades coming back in. Now, there could be many reasons for that. Obviously, consumer sentiment as a general thing at the macroeconomic level has softened, and as a result, trades are seeing that come through in their book of work, their forward book of work, and as a result, need to fill that forward book of work up, so they're coming to high pages for that. But then also there are people coming back in, maybe from other sectors where things are slowing down, like the construction industry. A lot of subcontractors might have been used up. Building bigger projects. There's been some turbulence there. Obviously, there's been some insolvencies and businesses going into administration. Those subcontractors coming back in, wanting work, and maybe just dealing more at the smaller level where they get a bit more certainty on payment and more certainty about regular sustained work. So we're seeing those numbers really, really being high.
Stay with me, Robbie. We'll be back in a minute. My guest today is Robbie Sharon-Zipser, founder and CEO of High Pages. There's obviously been a lot of change over the last 12 months. Do you have any thoughts on what the next 12 months might look like?
Yeah, I think, we look at the interest rates. They appear to be stabilizing. There's some discussion around recession or technical recession and all that. But I feel like we are reaching a point where we are all really understanding the rules of the game. We know where the interest rates are. Consumer sentiment will start to stabilize. There's also discussion that some of the pricing pressures, particularly on raw materials, is stabilizing. Probably go up a little bit more, but not too much more. I think supply chains are starting to be restored. Some of the international relations that are, may have put some restrictions in play, they're sort of easing a little bit. So I feel like we know the game. And we know what's going on, and therefore makes it a little bit more predictable. So my take on what's going to happen in the future is this environment where consumer sentiment might be still a bit weaker, but that's probably going to be like that for probably the next 24 months. And I think we'll start to see maybe a bit more of a balanced approach to what's going on. So where we were at a year ago was unbalanced. It was just too much demand in the market, not enough trades to service the market. Whereas now we're in a situation where it's a little bit more balanced, and that makes sense. I think that's going to be consistent for the next 24 months.
And some of that would have been kind of a drawing forward of demand as well. So we've got kind of the cost of living pressures on the one hand, and the other hand, we had all those building grants and all the rest of it, and everyone went a little bit crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. COVID. Yeah, they do, absolutely do. We do, but let's admit it, we all did a little bit.
Yes, we did.
I think from the High Pages business point of view, what I can say is that what it's done is it's given us some pretty good confidence around looking ahead. So for us as the largest marketplace for trade services in Australia, we're transitioning our business to be a platform. And what we can see is that trades want to engage with the technology. They want to provide a better service. They get very good satisfaction by giving a good service, which we can see is happening based off consumer NPS and customer satisfaction scores that we track. So it's becoming a bit more balanced and a better environment, which gives us confidence as a business to provide a little bit of more clearer targeting. So we're targeting around, low to mid-teen growth as a business. Hopefully we can make that better, but that's based off our strategy of, improving pricing in our marketplace, and then also providing more services per customer as a platform to tradies in the future.
Definitely. And I hate to ask this, but earlier this year, the ACCC did take exception to the way that High Pages was managing renewals and termination fees. What changes have you made since then?
Yeah, I think that's a good call out, and look, really transparent about that. I want to be clear as well. We worked really closely with the ACCC, Australia's regulator, on the matter. We have developed a process of subscription where customers join us for an introductory 6 months offer, and then they auto renew for 12 months. The findings from the ACCC was that they didn't have an issue with the business model per se, but wanted us to be clearer about how our auto renewals worked and our termination fees would work if they exited the contracts that they entered into.
Mm.
And we took that on board. And we also enhanced our customer handling processes as well. So, in a way, I think we acknowledge that what the ACCC's concerns were, and we've addressed that by improving our lines of communication. We provide multiple notifications to customers about their subscription, very, very clear contractual terms are made abundantly clear up front, multiple methods of communication about auto renewal, increased cooling off periods, better handling processes when customers have concerns about things that might come up in our marketplace. So I feel like we've done a really good job and probably could write a white paper on how to work closely with a regulator on the topic. So
please do.
yeah, and it's, it is concerning, and, you get that. We have always had good intentions. Remember, we're an Australian company. We're based all in Australia. Our customers are Australian. We're up against some big international competitors that offer a different solution and service. But, all our people are in Australia. Our customers are in Australia. Oh, actually now in New Zealand, I should say. So, of course, we want to do the right thing. And if we can enhance the customer outcomes and expectations, then we will work towards that as part of our values of providing great service to our customers.
I love that you're able to take some positive out of that and turn that into something really beneficial for the business. I think that's a good lesson for everyone. Look, Robbie, thank you very much for talking to Fear and Greed.
Oh, and it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, and hope to see you again. Thank you.
That was Robbie Sharon-Zipser, the founder and CEO of hipages. This is the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's best business podcast. I'm Jennifer Duke, economics correspondent for Capital Brief and filling in for Sean Elmer. Have a great day.